everyone, my name is Megan Ortiz. I'm going to discuss about the Lesson 9 DepEd Guidelines on Lesson Planning. Objectives. In this lesson, you will be able to first determine the legal basis for instructional planning in the Department of Education. Second, identify key features of instructional planning. And third, explain how the instructional planning and strategies could be integrated in with the DepEd guidelines. Introduction. With the promulgation of Republic Act No. 10533 or the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, the education sector has changed. So, no, when we say promulgation, ang ibig sabihin nun is pagpapahayag. So, nung ipinahayag yung Republic Act No. 10533, marami yung pagbabago sa education sector. It has moved from a competency-based curriculum toward a standard-based one. So, pag sinabi natin competency-based curriculum is ito, dito naka-focus yung kung paano maya-apply ng students yung kaalaman na natutunan nila, hindi lang sa kung ano yung dapat nilang matutunan. When we see naman na standard-based one is dito naman is nakadepende kung ano yung grade level ng bata sa kung ano yung knowledge na dapat niyang matutunan. Furthermore, the way learners are assessed and evaluated under the new curriculum has changed with the K-12, putting more emphasis on performance and outputs rather than simple pen and paper test. Kasi kung mapapansin ninyo, hindi lang tayo nakapokus sa pen and paper test. So, ngayon kasi, more on na tayo sa performance and outputs based. So, pinapagawa ng teacher yung mga role play, paggawa ng activities, experiment, kung ano-ano na nakabase siya sa performance, gumagawa yung estudyante. DepEd Order No. 42 S 2016 or Policy Guidelines on the Daily Lesson Preparation for the K-12 of Education Program. As such, the DepEd released guidelines to ensure that instructional planning is done in orderly and regular fashion. In the eyes of the Department of Education, instructional planning is fundamental to ensure the delivery of teaching and learning in the school. So, sinasabi dito na importante daw talaga or mahalaga yung instructional planning para masigurado yung kung paano i-deliver ng teacher or at saka kung ano yung matututunan ng mga estudyante at saka ng teacher. Kasi hindi lang estudyante yung nagle-learn, pati na rin yung teacher. Instructional planning is comprised of three major types advocated in the policy, namely planning instruction, delivery of instruction, and assessment of learning. This process expects the teachers come to class prepared and organized and develop a plan, implement it, and determine how well plan was implemented. So, kung sa planning instruction is dito na pinag-iisipan ng teacher kung ano-ano ba yung dapat niyang ituro. Kung paano ba siya magtuturo. Delivery of instruction naman is kung ano yung gagamitin niya para ma-deliver or para makapagbigay siya ng knowledge sa estudyante. It's either nakalagay ba sa PowerPoint or magsusulat talaga siya sa whiteboard or blackboard. And assessment of learning naman is dito naman na ini-evaluate kung may natutunan nga ba talaga yung mga estudyante. Kung totoo ba talagang nakinig sila sa teacher. Para malaman din ng teacher kung saan ba sila nagkulang or kung saan ba talaga siya dapat mag-focus. Kung ano ba dapat yung babalikan niya sa next lesson. Kasi doon niya malalaman kung maganda ba yung pagkaka-deliver niya or meron bang bata na may mahina sa ibang part ng lesson na diniscuss niya. Elements of the learning plan. The lesson plan serves as the teacher's map in attaining the objectives of the lesson. As such, it should be carefully crafted, containing the necessary details to tackle the particular topic. So, dito naman sa lesson plan is totoo yung sasabi dito na teacher's map. Kasi kung doon nilalagay sa lesson plan kung ano-ano ba dapat yung ituturo ng teacher, kung paano ba siya sa loob ng classroom, doon mo makikita kung ano-ano yung dapat mong ibigay or kung ano yung dapat na maituro mo sa mga estudyante mo. At saka Essentially, the lesson should answer the following questions. Questions. What should be taught? Key areas to be taught from the curriculum guide are: number one, content standards. So, syempre, dapat alam mo kung ano yung subject na ituturo sa estudyante. Pinag-aaralan dapat yung subject na yun para syempre kapag nagtanong yung estudyante, may masasagot naman yung teacher. Essential knowledge and understanding. So, kapag ka nag-discuss na si teacher, dito mo na papasok yung question and answer. Siyempre, para malaman kung totoong may natutunan yung estudyante or nakuha ba talaga nila yung knowledge na gustong ibigay ng teacher. Performance standards, dito na pumapasok yung role play or kung sa science pa ba, experiment na yan. Learning competencies naman is learning competencies, skills, and capabilities that how students need to perform task in a specific setting. So, for example, nagbigay ka agad ng role play para may gawin yung estudyante. How should it be taught? The DepEd policy also acknowledges that with the use of the lesson plan, the teacher can identify which parts of the lesson the learners could find difficult and address them appropriately. So dito naman is dito ko sa lesson plan, tulad niya ng sinabi ko kanina, is doon nakalagay yung kung ano-ano ba yung ituturo mo sa estudyante, kung paano mo sila tuturuan, kung ano yung materials na kailangan mo. So kapag ka may estudyante na hindi masyadong mahina or kung meron siyang part na diniscuss mo na hindi niya medyo na-gets, is madali mong matutukoy kung saan ka ba nagkulang or kung ano-ano pa ba yung dapat mong i-enhance as a teacher. These strategies could include: number one, direct instruction where a material is taught in a sequential manner. So direct instruction ito ay tumutukoy sa kung ano ba talaga yung tipong wala nang ibang itatanong sa yung estudyante kasi sinabi mo na kung ano-ano yung kailangan, kung paano gagawin, tas kung kailan ibibigay or isasubmit yung pinagawa mong activity sa kanila. Indirect instruction naman is a strategy that directly involves the learner as a more active participant in the classroom rather than a passive one. Kasi nga, pag indirect instruction naman is, for example, as a math teacher, nagbigay ka lang ng problem. So, sila na yung bahala mag-solve, mag-isip kung paano nila isosolve yung problem na binigay mo. Yun yung indirect instruction. Kasi more on estudyante yung gumagawa, hindi basta-basta lang binibigay ng teacher yung lahat ng information. Interactive instruction uses active learning methods, engage the learners to interact with each other and their teacher. So sa interactive instruction is yung example dito is yung oral recitation, which is naga-question yung teacher sa mga students, tapos naga-questions din yung students sa teacher kapag hindi nila na-gets yung topic or yung part ng lesson. Experiential instruction involves the learners in the learning experience. So dito naman sa experiential instruction is, for example, is yung role playing, which is binibigay ng teacher sa students para gawin yung role playing na related sa topic or lesson na diniscuss ng teacher. Independent study, as the name suggests, the teacher's control of the learning experience is reduced and gives the learners the rein on their interaction with the content. So dito naman sa independent study is yung students lang talaga yung gumagawa ng study, which is sila talaga yung nag-iisip kung paano sila matututo or kung ano-ano yung dapat nilang matutunan na hindi na nila kailangan pa yung ng teacher. How should learning be assessed? Lesson planning not only involves planning for the execution of the lesson, it should also convey an assessment plan in measuring student learning. The policy refers to DepEd Order Number 8S 2015 entitled Policy Guidelines Classroom Assessment for the K-12 Basic Education Program. So yung lesson planning is hindi lang siya basta-basta involve yung planning kung paano ka maggawa ng lesson. Dito rin nakalagay kung ano-ano ba dapat yung assessment na gagawin mo para ma-measure kung ano yung natutunan ng estudyante. Learning plans, DepEd Order number 42S 2016 recognizes that teachers acquire more experience and competency as they progress in the teaching profession. So kapag ka ando na talaga sa point yung teacher na nagaturo na talaga siya is doon mo malalaman kung paano sila magturo or kung ano na talaga yung mga natutunan nila or kung gaano na sila kung gaano karami yung kaalaman nila. Newly hired teachers without professional teaching experience will be required to prepare a daily detailed lesson plan or DLP for 1 year. So yung mga bagong hired na teacher ay kailangan pang gumawa ng DLP or detailed lesson plan ng 1 taon. While teachers will at least 1 year of teaching experience will be required to use the weekly lesson log or DLL. Dito naman na yung teacher na at least 1 year, gumagawa na sila ng DLL or daily lesson log. Ang pinagkaiba ng DLP at saka DLL ay yung DLP is ginagawa mo siya, yung detailed lesson plan na meron lang isang lesson na nakalagay na doon lahat ng gagawin mo. While yung DLL naman or daily lesson log is isang buong linggo na yung ginagawa mong lesson na nakalagay doon. Yun yung pinagkaiba ng DLL at saka DLP. Parts of the detailed lesson plan. Before the lesson, this part describes the preliminary activities prior to the actual introduction of the lesson. So before the lesson is, dito na pumapasok yung prayer, tapos greetings, checking of the attendance, tapos kung meron pa mga motivational activity bago yung discussion. The lesson proper, the teacher presents the new material to the learners. He or she employs various strategies and methods to convey the new concepts, skills, and competencies to the learners. So dito na pumapasok yung discussion ng teacher. Tapos kung ano-ano ba talaga yung mga gagawin niya, kung ano yung mga kailangan niya. For example is naka-PPT, kailangan niya ng projector, kailangan maglagay or magsulat sa whiteboard or blackboard, depende na yun sa teacher. After the lesson proper, this begins with a wrap-up activity where the teacher provides a summary of the lesson or asks the learners to summarize the lesson for the class. So, syempre, para malaman ng teacher kung ano ba talaga yung natutunan ng mga students niya or kung may natutunan niya ba. Part of the daily lesson log or DLL. Objectives describe what the teacher intends to attain for the day. So, dito pumapasok yung 3 factors sa paggawa ng objectives. Yung cognitive, psychomotor, tapos yung affective. So, dito sa objectives, nakalagay kung ano-ano nga ba talaga yung goal ng teacher, kung ano yung gusto niya makamit sa araw ng pagtuturo niya. These are of course based on the curriculum guide set by the DepEd. Content standards are the facts, concepts, and procedures based on each of the learning areas that the learners need to learn. So dito pumapasok yung mga procedures kung paano matututo or kung ano-ano ba yung kailangang matutunan ng estudyante na binibigay naman ng teachers. Performance standards are the tasks that learners need to perform based on what they understood about the content. So, for example, na yung dinidiscuss ng teacher is about sa microscope, mga parts of microscope. Siyempre, para malaman ng teacher kung may natutunan yung students is kailangan niyang i-present sa harap yung microscope para malaman niya kung may natutunan yung estudyante. So, individually lalapit yung student sa harap tapos ituturo kung or sasabihin niya kung ano-ano yung parts ng microscope na andun. Learning competencies are the knowledge, skills, and attitudes that learners need to demonstrate in the duration of the lesson. So sa learning competencies naman is ito kung ano yung natutunan ng mga estudyante tapos sasabihin nila or i-demonstrate nila sa harap ng klase. Dito pumapasok yung oral recitation, kung may natutunan yung estudyante. Content, this describe the subject matter of the lesson. So, dito naman nakalagay sa content kung ano-ano yung lesson na i-discuss ng teacher sa buong linggo. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lang isa, kundi 7 yung ilalagay. Ay, 5 pala yung ilalagay. for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Learning resources. This pertains to the references and other sources of information the teacher will use for the lesson. So sa learning resources naman is dito nilalagay, for example, is kung sa Google lang ba kinuha, kailangan ng link. Pagka sa book naman, kailangan ilagay yung page at saka kung anong part yung kinuha niya dun sa book. Procedures. For the daily lesson log, procedure for delivering the lesson shall be composed of 10 steps. So, meron siyang 10. Yung procedure, meron siyang 10. Hindi lang isa, 10. Number 1, reviewing of previous lesson or presentation of the lesson. So, syempre, bago mag-discuss si teacher, mag-review muna siya kung ano yung previous lesson na diniscuss niya, kung totoo bang nalaman pa ng estudyante or natutunan nila yung last na diniscuss ng teacher. Number 2, establishing purpose for the lesson as a form of motivation. So, dito na gumagawa ng mga motivational activities si teacher para malaman kung ano nga ba talaga yung purpose ng topic na i-discuss niya sa araw na yon. Number 3, presentation of examples for content and competencies in order to clarify concepts. So, syempre, para malaman ng mga estudyante, kailangan niyang mag-present siya ng examples para madaling maintindihan ng mga estudyante. Discussion of new concepts leading to the first formative assessment activity prior to the beginning of the lesson. So, syempre, pagka nag-discuss na si teacher ng mga bagong concepts, dito na pumapasok yung formative assessment, which is nagabigay siya ng information sa students. Tapos, kapag nag-question naman si students, is mas lalong palalamin ng teacher or mas pahabain pa or i-enhance pa yung knowledge para madaling maintindihan ng mga estudyante. Number 5, development of the concept to deepen learners' understanding leading toward the second formative assessment. So, dito na pumapasok yung kapag nag-question na si teacher kung may naintindihan ba yung estudyante, tapos nagsagot yung estudyante, which is yung inaabangan na sagot ng teacher. Dito na pumapasok yung second formative assessment kasi nag-respond na si student sa teacher. Number 6, deepen understanding of the learners on the lesson's concepts to lead toward mastery. So, dito na is, for example, nag-question si students, syempre, sasagutin ni teacher. Tapos, bibigyan ni teacher ng maraming examples para malaman or madaling maintindihan ng students kung ano yung knowledge na gustong ibigay ng teacher. Number 7, helping learners find practical ways to use the knowledge and the skills they have learned in the lesson. So, dito na is, tumutulong na yung teachers para mai-relate ng mga students kung ano yung nalalaman nila sa school, or kapag nag-discuss si teacher, nire-relate niya. Wait lang, nag-back. Where are you? So, dito na, kapag nag-discuss si teacher, nire-relate niya yun sa real world situations para madaling ma-gets ng mga students. Tapos, kapag nalaman na nila, pwede rin nilang i-apply yung situation nila. Number 8, making generalization and abstraction about the concepts and insights from the lesson. So, dito na is generalize na ni teacher kung ano-ano nga ba yung diniscuss niya o kung ano yung laman ng discussion or lesson na ginawa niya. Tapos, abstraction naman is dito pumapasok yung question and answer na, which is taga-questions na siya sa students kung ano-ano yung mga nalaman nila, or for example, kung anong part ba yung itatanong niya tapos sasagutin ng estudyante. Number 9, evaluation, learning to assess whether the lesson objectives were met. So, syempre, pagkatapos ng discussion, generalize na, doon na papasok yung evaluation, which is, magbibigay na siya ng activity, tapos sasagutan ng mga students. Doon niya malalaman kung effective ba yung pagtuturo na ginawa niya, or meron pa siyang pagkukulang. Doon niya yun malalaman. Number 10, providing additional activities for the application of the lessons learned or remediation for the learners who may have had difficulty with the lesson. So dito na is magbibigay na siya ng additional activities para malaman niya o kapag kinalaman na ni teacher kung saan may part na mahina yung estudyante niya, magbibigay siya ng additional activities. Tapos and the next day na mag-class siya is babalikan nila yung lesson na medyo nahirapan yung estudyante para magets nila at makakapag-proceed sila sa bagong topic. Remarks: this part indicates the special cases such as continuation of the lesson or reteaching or rescheduling due to lack of time or suspension of classes. So kapag ka nagkakaroon ng suspension of classes or for example mga holiday, pagkabalik eskwela ng mga bata is tinuturo ulit ng teacher kung ano yung last topic na diniscuss nila para kahit pa paano hindi nila makalimutan yung knowledge na binigay ng teacher. Reflection: this is where the teacher reflects on what transpired during the lesson. So dito na mag-reflect na si teacher kung ano-ano ba talaga yung mga nangyari sa lesson na yung kung saan ba siya nagkulang, kung ano yung kailangan niyang i-improve. The end. Thank you for watching.